Welcome to the Salt and Pepper Podcast, where we talk about anything and everything. We're your hosts, Adam
and Siddiqui.
And today we're diving into some theories, playing our favorite game higher or lower with our guest Will Radcliffe, and finishing it off with sports. Thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe and go check out our Spotify.
So, we've been talking a lot lately and, making plans for, future content. And most people say try 3 before you quit. So we tried the 3 first episodes.
Yep.
I love doing this.
I think that it's more or less for our sake. It helps us get through some shit before it's having anything to do with being famous or being influential.
Yeah, because I don't really care about the views or the likes or any of that.
Yeah.
More, I just care about, it makes me happy to care about something so much. And then, I want people to care about it as much too. So that's why I put so much time into it.
Right.
And I want people to, be happy when they listen to me.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
And, that's the goal. For me, It's not even about being famous.
Yeah.
And so making people happy means, we got to do more things, show our face a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which means, we're going to start making YouTube videos eventually. Even stream, if that's a possibility.
Yeah.
And then, whatever we could do content-wise, we're going to try to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be, harder than what we're doing now, for sure.
100%.
But, I'm with it, though. I'm not going to give up on this because I really feel strongly about, what I could do in society.
I think it's refreshing to have a new passion for something because, it's been basketball for me for the last 15 years of my life. It's just been wake up basketball. You know what I mean? And I have never lost my passion for basketball, but it's like I said, it's refreshing to have something that I can go to put my time towards. That's also benefiting myself. I'm not out doing no dumb shit or getting myself in trouble. We're in here working on what we need to do to try to get to where we want to be in life. And, that reality of that basketball or football is going to end for us one day, I feel like it's kicking in and we got to still make it to where we want to be because we can be influential on the football field and we can be influential on the basketball court. And
but it might not be in the way we thought we were going to be when we were 10.
Yeah.
We might not be stars in the NFL, NBA,
right.
But, we could do stuff destroying.
Right.
He's always out building new community football communities with the 7-on-7s and the 1-on-1s.
Right. And bringing people together and through football, and I think that's something that we could really use this if it takes off. You know what I mean? I think the intentions behind it are right, but we just got to continue to keep putting the work in.
Keep putting the work in. Mr. Beast, best YouTuber on YouTube right now, he says, look, bro, your first good amount of content is probably going to be trash.
Right.
But it's about working on one thing every single time and getting better and better every single time to a point where it's just you're making videos and you're clean with it.
Right.
And, hopefully we could get there one day. And I'll be very excited when we get there.
Yeah.
And even now I'm excited. So let's keep working on that. Keep getting better every day.
For sure.
YouTube videos coming up soon. Theories. There's been a lot of theories in the world lately.
Good and bad.
Good and bad. And I think, people love to listen to theories.
Yeah.
I like listening to theories, rumors, whatever is going on.
Yeah.
There's a theory going around. Cat Williams, comedian, actor. Even Dave Chappelle is on the same,
right.
That the industry and the Illuminati is making black comedians wear dresses in film to boost their stardom. And I know it sounds crazy.
Right.
But when you look when you really look at it, it's damn, a lot of big names, a bunch of black men that are really prominent in this world, a Kevin Hart, a Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy, Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
They've all worn dresses in in some type of content they've made, like on SNL, or like Tyler Perry does it the most out of anybody with Medea. Yeah. I love Medea. Like, that's a tough ass.
So you're saying that they wear dresses or dress like women
to get more praise and more love, because Cat Williams is saying that, like, pretty much the Illuminati can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
To people, like, they could kill your whole career.
Right.
And he's saying that they're telling, strong people in the industry and people that influence a lot of people, wear a dress on screen, kind of to make them feel smaller, but then their stardom will be bigger because the Illuminati will do more stuff for them.
Right.
And that's what Cat Williams is pretty much on, is like, why are they doing this? Why is Kevin Hart doing this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he was already a big name, and then there was an interview I saw of Kevin Hart, and he was like, I would never wear a dress. And 6 months later, he was in a dress on SNL.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's just weird because you hear that and then you start to see it more.
Yeah. Like, but you look back at it and it's just like, wow, I've seen this dude, all in dresses on television.
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess it does make sense now that I look back at it. You know what I mean? Just through my childhood and growing up with as these guys got famous.
Yeah.
And I think you're onto something about how there would be no point for them to do it rather than to just take that extra step up.
Yeah.
Because everybody on this earth knows Kevin Hart, but there would be no reason for him to wear a dress.
But you think deeper into it, and it gets a little deeper and deeper, and you can listen to Cat Williams on Shannon Sharp's new podcast. He goes crazy about it, pretty much, and he's really the only one talking about it as deep as he is. Dave Chappelle spoke on it a couple times.
Yeah,
it's just, I think a lot of people try to push it to the side,
right?
When low key, a lot of shit adds up, and I do think there's people behind the scenes doing things, changing things,
right?
But I don't think it's an Illuminati or anything like that.
Right.
I think it's just a group of people who are huge, like a Oprah, a Tyler Perry, these big, huge names in the industry. You know what I mean? Right. That give people content every single day.
Yeah. That
just run a lot of shit that people don't even know about.
Right.
It's way deeper than people think.
Than just having a impact because they're famous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand.
They can change people's lives.
Yeah.
Like that.
Right. Do you think that in that time era, they would have to do some outlandish shit like that to get famous because they were black, or just because looking back at it though, you don't see many white dudes doing that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially,
there's a few, but not Robin Williams was one, you know, but there's not as many white men doing it as black men. I'm sure there's still white men doing it all the time. And, and
but once they get to a certain, not popularity, but stardom, you don't see that happening at the high level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't see as much public embarrassment. You don't see as much white men having to do that type of stuff to take that next leap in popularity and being a superstar.
And I think that mostly started in the 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Because if you were a black dude and you were trying to get famous and trying to be this big, huge person in the world, you were either a comedian, you were an athlete, NFL or NBA,
right?
Or you were a music artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Those are the few things you could really be. Now it's obviously way more actors, and it's getting deeper now. A lot. Yeah. I think it's easier nowadays for black people to become famous because that's just the society we live in now.
Well, that's because black culture is stronger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so much room for people to grow and be themselves now that you see black culture taking over. You know what I mean? Being more entertaining and producing these people that can be more influential because of the hand that they was dealt when they was a child.
Yeah. And I love seeing the story of like the black kid that really, really grew up with nothing,
Right.
and he worked hard,
Yeah.
like a Ray Lewis story.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that story is insane.
Or Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Getting kicked out by his mom at 13,
Like
never
really,
knowing his dad.
really nothing.
Yeah.
Really, really nothing.
Really just betting on themselves, man.
And the fact that they were able to become who they became,
right,
is just like for a lot of black kids who live exactly the same way as them.
Yeah.
Watching the mom get beat up or
Right.
like getting kicked out at a young age,
Yeah.
and not knowing where you're gonna sleep, and you got to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
It's inspiring for a lot of black kids in the same situation.
Right. And I think that's the beauty of having every race have a celebrity where they can at least a positive role model if it's not going to be a family member. Or like, I think a lot of the problems we have nowadays is a lack of role models for these younger kids growing up.
Right.
And being able to have multiracial role models for all these kids to look up to, because, you know what I mean? As a black kid, you're not going to look up to, you know what I mean, a golfer.
Yeah.
If you're growing up in the city where you're surrounded by all these different distractions. You know what I mean? You're not going to look at whoever and be like, I'm inspired by him. No, you're going to look at the dudes around you. You know what I mean?
Speaking on inspiration, Vermont has like nobody kids can really look up to.
Right.
Because like you look at your race, and then you also look at like where you're from.
Yeah.
So like if you grew up in Chicago and Jimmy Butler grew up in Chicago,
right?
You know what I mean? That's you guys connect in that way.
Yeah.
Vermont, a lot of like there's nobody like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's really tragic because there's a lot of kids out here who just like don't know what they want to do.
Right.
And there's nobody to like even like somebody to look at and be like, I want to be like this person.
Yeah.
They're me. They're
right.
just like me.
And would you say, like, obviously I don't know what it's like to grow up black, but would you share some of the things that you've dealt with and seen and how you broke that barrier to want to be great?
I think I was born wanting to be somebody.
Yeah.
And wanting to be great because my father was so great.
Right.
And my father's very African. Like, he doesn't understand, like, the American racism.
Yeah.
So he, like, I was never able to really learn from him about it or really my mom. How to deal with it.
Deal with it, yeah.
And, there's plenty of times where, I've been called the N-word. My freshman year, my first varsity game at Rutland, I was 14. First game, high school game ever.
Yeah.
Rutland's where all the championships are played for football.
Right.
So it's a big stadium.
Yeah.
And I get in the game in like the second, third quarter, and I'm playing good, and a dude said, like, "You not gonna get by me, nigga."
Yeah.
It's like, that was a culture shock right there.
Right.
Because I didn't know where I was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You didn't have that footing in society.
I didn't. Yeah. And I wasn't the person I am today.
Right.
So I didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And I just kept playing. And it kind of sat on me a little bit.
Right.
For a long time. But it's like, it is tough. Because my mom, she didn't grow up like the white girl Finanza, like,
right.
You know what I mean? All those white girls, like the white moms, you can tell how they grew up.
Yeah.
Like my mom grew up around a bunch of black people.
Yeah.
She grew up ghetto as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's cool as hell. She a gangster though.
Right.
Like, my mom's also tall as fuck.
Yeah.
She's like 5'9", 250. Like, she's a scary ass person.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get a lot of my confidence from my mom too, on not to be like rah 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 when somebody says the N-word, because like my stature makes people not want to say the N-word in the first place.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, like, getting mad at people saying the N-word is valid, and I think it should be done.
Right.
But fighting over it, like beating somebody up, to the point of almost death, I think is a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think words could be used a lot better.
Right.
In a conversation.
And I think, though, obviously being on the white side of things and growing up in the same area as like, that's majority black is tough because you see all the sides of all like the police presence and how you go in a different part of town and you don't see a cop in these neighborhoods, and then you go to different neighborhoods and there's 2 or 3 cops sitting around a couple blocks from you. And growing up in that area, you know, I'd spend weekends, I'd spend weeks sometimes with my mom. We used to live in Burlington, and obviously as a young kid you don't think in racist ways.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, is like they just aren't around that basic level of racism that is just in our society to understand. Like, as a kid, you go to the park and you see a human being and you play with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas if like you go to these corporate businesses and it's just like you see a black CEO and you're like, wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not common. And as a kid, no matter what color they are, you're going to play with them like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And to me, like I said, being on that white side of society, I always knew what it was like to be in those type of scenarios. And obviously, as I got older, I realized how incredibly wrong it was. And being always around black culture and trying to support my friends through some of the struggles they got to endeavor is some of the hardest shit I've ever had to go through.
Yeah.
Because it's like all these white people have no idea what it's like to be black. And I've never once claimed that, but like being firsthand in those scenarios is so different from the normal person's perspective because it's just so different. And for any people that, if any race that's not black should have no say on who says the N-word, when they use the N-word, how it's used, when it should be used in schools or not. You know, that was a big problem in my high school growing up. You know what I mean? Like, we would have these white professors saying it, and it was caused a lot of like turmoil, obviously, because that's just not what should be happening. Perfect example just happened the other day. My little brother wants to take a knee for the national anthem, right?
Yeah.
And my grandfather served. His great-grandfather served for this country. All love and respect. Thank you to everybody who's ever served this country.
Right.
But nobody wants to take the time to understand what these kids are trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not trying to disrespect the flag. They're not trying to disrespect the people that defend our freedom. They're not trying to disrespect the United States of America. They're just trying to peacefully protest for the things that most people don't see.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
And there's a lot people don't see. And
it's not their fault, but not batting an eye to it and not taking care of the solutions is why it's gotten this far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is something that I feel strongly about, that I fully support my brother doing it. Shout out Christian Mitchell. I love you to death. I fully support everything that you do. And I fully support anybody who wants to stand up for a cause that not a lot of people really have a lot of experience in.
For sure. I mean, police presences in neighborhoods, I've seen that too. And the fact that, like, I think because the stereotype around the black man is very, like, drug dealer, bass athlete, like tattoos.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's the stereotype of a black dude, like a bad person.
Yeah.
And, like, what leads to building those stereotypes is people, like, one, not believing in them.
Yeah.
And two, not having as many opportunities, you know, as the white man.
Right.
And it leads to them selling drugs.
Yeah.
And then them getting arrested and them getting killed eventually one day.
And then the next generation not having those role models to see what a better life looks like for themselves.
Right.
Because that, unfortunately, a lot of these minorities are stuck in these bad cycles of just they're just trying to get out of the cycles of poverty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, they're just not set up with the right equipment on how to handle life situations, or like we keep saying, role models.
Right.
They don't have any.
And that's why having a good mindset is number one thing. Like I want to install into my children's.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta have a mindset.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I want to be this person, so my children can look at me and be like, I want to be just like my dad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And with that also comes with really in your life, if you're lost, just find something that you feel passionate about.
Right.
And one thing that I always talk to the people that look up to me and need my guidance is I use the analogy of a laser. You know what I mean? And obviously in your mind, that laser is pointed at the end goal, but you take relationship with like a girlfriend or a boyfriend and you put school and you put money and it's all like a hand in front of the laser.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they're always distracting you from that end goal. But if you can use that laser and always keep it on the end goal and remove those hands and remove the objects out of the laser,
right.
That's literally what life is, man.
Really? I like
that's
that.
all it is.
I like that. Laser analogy, I do like that. I mean, there's always going to be distractions, even when you make it, even when you get to the end goal.
Right, exactly. But then once you get to the end goal, you got to find your next end goal.
Right. And there's always going to be an end goal regardless until we all pass away.
Yeah.
That real end goal is having a good life.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it. The real end goal is being okay with what you did in life. Being happy with what you made of yourself as a person.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just give up at like 25.
Yeah.
And
if they haven't had it figured out by then.
Yeah. And they stop trying. And it's like 25, you're so young.
Yeah. As a society and as a whole world, kind of, we've been like, if you don't have it figured out by this time at this age, you know what I mean? And you don't have this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
Big house, fast car, you know what I mean? Traveling a lot. By the age of 30, then you're a bum.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's just the world we live in.
And people judge, and that's why I think people give up on themselves. It's because there's so many haters.
Right.
And it's like, why can't he do what he want to do without getting judged?
Right.
Why judge another man for being happy?
Yeah. And also what comes with that is surrounding yourself with the right people that want to see you succeed. And I know it may be hard to find that, but once you do, your life will change entirely.
That's what I think too.
And speaking of one of those people, we'd like to welcome Will Radcliffe to the podcast. Will, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Good. So to start off, man, where are you from?
I am from Albany area in New York, more specifically Clifton Park.
All right.
Lived there my whole life, and I love it there. It's my home.
And we know you're a hooper, man. We know you hoop here.
Yeah.
How was hooping like in high school compared to this?
It's a good question. It was a lot different. I mean, the high school scene compared to the college scene is a lot different.
100%.
You know, just because like the competitiveness in college is a lot different.
Right.
It looks like y'all be fighting out there sometimes, I know.
Yeah, it's
especially if there's not like a dead ball or a foul for a long time, y'all just going.
Yeah.
Like it gets more and more intense until like obviously that point comes, but like or a foul or something happens.
Yeah.
But when y'all just going for like a minute straight, it's like I know y'all dying out there. It's like
there's time
y'all putting body on body.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on to higher or lower.
Let's get it, man.
Adam versus Will. I'm coming off the loss to Zach, man.
That was a tough loss for you, man.
That was very sad.
That was a landslide for sure, man.
I was sad, man. I was in my bed, man, and I was just I didn't know what to do with myself. Three categories. Each category has 3 different questions. The categories today are movies, more specifically the ratings, the IBM-D ratings or something like that.
Yeah.
And NBA 2K ratings.
All right.
And monthly listeners, music-wise, on Spotify.
I think I would be pretty good at that.
Yeah. So
low-key.
He's got Spotify. I got Apple Music.
So. I might have movies, though, low-key. I might meet you in the middle of movies.
We'll see.
I think this will be good.
We'll see, yeah.
All right, ready?
Of course.
Does Barbie have a higher or lower rating than Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer was that movie about
the war,
atomic bomb that blew
and
up.
Barbie.
The nuclear plant.
They came
that
out
blew
the
up.
same time.
The same. They had a bunch of TikToks, bunch of like Barbie
I think
to
I have
Oppenheimer because they're totally opposite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of love on both sides. A lot of love.
I
on both
bet
sides.
that I think that was a good movie.
For some reason, I like.
Higher though. I'm gonna say that just because of the attention that Barbie got, I think Barbie is higher than Oppenheimer.
Damn, I was thinking the same way, but something wants me to say Oppenheimer. But,
I feel like
just because I know like the fan
Yeah.
base for Barbie was probably like
Insane.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love both movies. I watched both of them. So
I didn't see either.
they both won a bunch of awards.
Just the fan base for Barbie is telling me I gotta go
I
higher.
I think Barbie.
So you guys are both going higher on
Yeah.
Barbie?
Team Barbie.
Yeah.
Barbie is actually lower than Oppenheimer. Barbie had a 6.9 out of 10.
Yeah.
And Oppenheimer had an 8.4 out of 10.
Wow.
Which is an insane
Yeah,
rating.
that's crazy.
I'm not even mad about that though.
I'm
I
not
honestly
mad
think it should be like that, but I honestly
I was just thinking of all like the social media stuff I was seeing about Barbie, like
Right.
the like, whole fan base thing. I was
Next question. Does Forrest Gump have a higher or lower rating than The Dark Knight, the Batman movie? The best Batman movie by far. And Forrest Gump, personally, is my favorite movie.
That's what I'm saying
This
though.
is
I
tough.
feel like everybody. You said Forrest Gump was higher or lower?
Higher or lower than The Dark Knight?
Higher. I'm going Forrest Gump here.
Forrest Gump is a great movie.
Just think about everybody's always saying run, Forrest, run.
yeah, bro.
They're still saying that to this day.
That's Dark Knight's a good movie.
Great video
That's,
game
that's,
too.
I think that's,
Oh,
that's,
yeah,
I think
I
that's
played
the
the video
best.
game.
I think it's
Video
the best
game.
superhero movie.
Dark
of all
Knight.
time.
I think they got the best.
I don't
villain in there.
disagree with that. I don't disagree.
That is
with
Loki Joker's movie too.
Right. I don't disagree with that at all. But I think though, just on how historic.
No, I'm gonna
Forrest
go
Gump
Dark Knight's
is,
higher.
I'm gonna go Forrest
I'm gonna
Gump.
go Dark
You're
Knight.
gonna go Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
Will's gonna take this point. It's 1-0.
I just had a
Dark
feeling.
Knight had a 9 rating, and Forrest Gump had an 8.8.
Ooh, that's close.
That is a close
That was
one.
a
Yep.
close one.
The third movie. Does The Matrix have a higher or lower rating than Terminator 2? Terminator 2, not 1. Terminator
Higher.
2.
Yeah. I'm saying.
I'm not high on the Terminator movies. I watched like the first 15 minutes of like the first one, and I was like, this is just not for me. And I was just thinking like, it's just not for me. So
It's
I'm
not
thinking
for you.
higher.
Yeah.
You're going higher for The Matrix?
Yeah.
You're going higher Matrix 2?
Yeah.
You guys are both correct. Will has 2. Adam has 1. Matrix had 8.7, and Terminator had 8.6.
That's way closer than I
Terminator
feel
2,
like it could have been.
8.6 rating.
Wow.
That's way closer than I thought it was going to be.
Wow.
Move on to the next section, NBA 2K ratings.
I gotta beat you.
You
in
might,
these.
yeah. You're
I
gonna
gotta
score
beat
here.
you in these.
Does Joel Embiid have a higher or lower rating than Giannis Antetokounmpo?
I think Joel's higher. Fresh off
Yeah.
MVP.
Yeah.
He's higher.
Gotta be higher.
Got to be higher, Joel.
Joel Embiid's higher.
You guys are both correct again.
I think it's 96, 95, isn't it?
It's 98-97.
Is this 24?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will has 3. You have 2.
Yep.
Next question. Does Jimmy Butler have a higher or lower rating than Kawhi Leonard?
Lower.
Jimmy Butler has a lower rating?
I think Jimmy has a higher.
Higher rating?
Hold up. Kawhi's been hurt this whole time. I know for a fact that Jimmy, last time I checked, was like in the 80s and Kawhi was in like a 91. I don't think that I think Jimmy's either a 90 or 89, so I'm going to go Jimmy Butler has a lower rating than Kawhi.
Lower rating?
Yeah.
Will is right.
No way.
It's 4-2. Jimmy Butler is a 93, and Kawhi Leonard is a 92.
Wow.
All right.
I think Kawhi is definitely better. I think Kawhi
When he's
should be
when
higher.
he's not
but
hurt, man. When
He's
not
always hurt. He's always hurt.
Yeah.
The last one in NBA 2K ratings is: does DeMar DeRozan have a higher or lower rating than Evan Mobley?
Oh, this is a curveball.
Yeah, that's a good
This
one.
one's a curveball.
He's just, I feel like you just don't hear about DeMar DeRozan anymore. And I don't play enough 2K
He
to
was
know what
also
Evan
cooking
Mobley-
last year in Chicago.
You know, I don't know. Is he hurt still, or is he just not playing?
I think he's fine. Yeah, I think he's good. I don't think he's hurt. I don't know why I want to go Mobley.
I want to go Mobley too. I'm gonna go Evan Mobley.
You're gonna go Evan
I'll
Mobley?
I'll go DeMar.
Go DeMar. Adam gets his first solo win.
Okay.
Thank you.
Evan Mobley's at 86. DeMar DeRozan is at 84.
That's bad.
I think that's disrespectful.
84? That's bad.
I think it should be like an 88.
That means there's a lot of people in 2K that are better than DeMar DeRozan. To me,
a lot.
He's like one of those players, especially in 2K. If you know how to use him, you're scoring 40 easy.
Yeah.
Like Paul George, if you know how to use Paul George, you're scoring 40 easy.
Mm-hmm. But like sometimes there'll be those little 80 overall players that be scoring like 50.
Yeah.
In 2K when I play.
If you know
like,
how
I don't
to
even
use
use. I be on the Lakers. Don't even be using LeBron. I be using Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
Like come on.
Yeah.
Moving on to the third and final section. Will has 4. Adam has 3. 3 questions left. Let's see how it goes, man. Does Sleepy Hollow have higher or lower listens than DMX?
Monthly listeners.
Monthly listeners.
Higher.
Sleepy has higher?
Yes.
DMX just passed not too long ago. He's still, his listeners might have gotten up.
Maybe.
But
just Sleepy's been dropping shit left and right. That's my favorite.
I'll go
artist.
DMX.
You gonna go DMX?
Go DMX.
Are you guys sure?
Yes.
Will's gonna take this one. It's 5-3. Sleepy has 8.9 mil. DMX has 9.6 mil.
I can't even. Yeah.
We was just bumping DMX at Texas Roadhouse the other day.
We was bumping DMX in the parking lot.
Families going by.
Yeah, we turned it down for them though. We got some type of respect, but we were bumping DMX.
Yeah,
I got love for both artists. I'm not even mad at that one.
Next question: does Michael Jackson have higher or lower listens than Lil Wayne?
Ooh, higher. Michael Jackson, higher.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
You guys are going to both say higher for Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
You guys are both wrong.
What?
Yeah. Lil Wayne has 38.4 million. Michael Jackson has 38.3 million.
Oh, okay.
Dude, that's nuts, bro. That's nuts to me that Lil Wayne has more monthly listeners.
Lil Wayne's a dog.
I'm not saying he's not a good artist, but everybody listens to
Mike
Jackson.
Right. I still listen to him to this day. Chicago, my favorite.
Both of them. I listen to both of them every day.
6 foot, 7 foot. Come on,
so I lost, right?
You did lose, so
That's all right. We still got one more. Make it closer.
One more to make it closer.
Marbles.
This one, a little different. Does The Weeknd have higher or lower listeners than Taylor Swift?
Oh,
lower.
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift is just everywhere.
Yeah.
I can't even watch a damn football game without seeing Taylor Swift.
She looked good though.
That's just completely besides the point.
You guys are both wrong again.
The Weeknd has
The
more
Weeknd
listeners
has
than
112 million listeners.
Who listens to The Weeknd now? Who listens to
And Taylor Swift has 108 million.
Bro, last time I listened to The Weeknd...
These are Spotify facts, though. These are Spotify facts.
Nah, but he had Blinding Lights, though. Like, that whole, era of him. But still, 100 is nuts.
Drake only has 83.
More people listen to The Weeknd than Drake. Can we put that into perspective?
That's crazy.
Hey, Drake's still my dude.
You would have got that. You would have got me if you would have thrown Drake in there against anybody. I would have said Drake. Easy. But the fact that Drake has less than The Weeknd?
I knew that Drake didn't have triple digits, though. I didn't think anyone had triple digits on Spotify.
Yeah, nah.
That's crazy. That's a crazy number.
Taylor Swift obviously would have had over 100.
Yeah.
I would have thought Taylor Swift over anybody, truth be
Honestly.
told. Yeah. Because how many people, female-wise, just listen to Taylor Swift religiously?
I feel like if I give a female the aux, it's going to be
at least
Taylor
one
Swift and song in there.
At least one.
Even if I take the aux, there might be a little Taylor Swift in there.
Throw a little something in there. You got to change it up sometimes. That's how you stay mysterious.
That is true, man.
Hey, thank you, Will, for being on the podcast, man. Got to get you back here someday. It was a great time.
It was. That was a great time. Now we're going to move on to some sports, man. Obviously, we know that the NFL playoff picture's out. We're going to go game by game and give you a breakdown and a winner. And that'll obviously lead to
Super Bowl.
58. It's great, man.
Let's start off with Browns, Texans. Big two teams that nobody expected to be in the playoffs this year. Texans obviously had the second pick last year.
Right.
Browns not too far after that. Like, for the Browns to be an 11-6 team is crazy because who led them to 11-6?
Joe Flacco, man.
Joe Flacco. He was sitting on his couch in the middle of the season,
Right.
and somehow he became an NFL quarterback. It was crazy.
Yeah. And to me though, this game means nothing because they're losing next round. So I'm not gonna think too deeply into this one.
But I'm gonna think. I say Browns win this.
I also think the Browns win this just because there's too many important pieces that have never been in a game like this in the Texans.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think that C.J. Stroud will be great. I think Nico Collins will be great.
Tank Dell's
out.
I know, but he will be great next year in the coming years.
I agree. I got Browns. Browns winning this one.
I got Browns winning this. Also, I want to see Joe Flacco play the Ravens, the team he won the Super Bowl with.
Right.
You know, they might not win that game, but still.
This right here is one of the biggest games I think that we were not expecting to see in the playoffs based on how everything turned out.
Dolphins and Chiefs is a wild game. The Chiefs have had a down year. They've not played as good as they usually do.
Yep.
11-6 is still a great record.
Great.
But they're also playing the dynamic, super fast Dolphins with an ex-teammate, Tyreek Hill, who was a big piece of the Chiefs.
Right.
You know,
but the Dolphins have not been playing very well. I mean, they went from top of the league to straight down since
they've lost some players.
Out. Yeah.
They've lost some players. They lost a linebacker in there. And no, their defense is not as solid. I still think their offense could do stuff and still be as dynamic as they were in the beginning of the season with Tua, passing leader title.
Right.
And I really think Dolphins beat the Chiefs in this game.
And I think that a step in the right direction in the amount of time they've had off to let everybody heal up and get ready for this game. I think if you were to ask me at the beginning of the season, I'd say Dolphins. And if you ask me now, I still say Dolphins.
I got Dolphins winning. On to Steelers versus Bills. This is crazy because the Bills and Dolphins played last week.
Yep.
And the Dolphins lost.
And they beat.
And they moved from 2 to 6. And the Bills moved to 2.
Right.
And it was a crazy jump.
Right.
They're playing the Steelers. And I just don't think the Steelers has what it takes to even get to the next round.
Yeah.
And I'll be real shocked if the Steelers move on. I think they're the sorriest team in the playoffs. And
I completely 100% disagree.
100% disagree.
And you're going to hate me because you know exactly where I'm going with that. But we're going to move on, though.
I got Bills winning. Bills are going to play the Dolphins, and the Browns are going to play the Ravens.
I think that I also have the Bills. I'm really high on Josh Allen. I think he's got unlucky with playing with the Chiefs first round every year. And I think now he has a legitimate shot to beat the Dolphins again. Moving on to the other side, round 1 up top, we got Eagles and Bucks. I don't even think this is a game at all.
I don't know. The Eagles have been playing real bad lately. They just lost to New York.
That was a horrible. I did just see that.
And the Bucks are definitely better than New York.
But we're in the same boat as Miami. If I give the right time for Miami Dolphins to have the time to settle down and get locked in for this game, I think I got to give the same for the Eagles. I got Eagles winning this game by 2 touchdowns.
I am going to be crazy here, and I'm going to disagree with you. And I'm going to say the Bucks are going to win, and they're going to slip away with a 1-touchdown game, 1-touchdown win game, and they're going to go on to play the 49ers, which they're going to get killed. But I think the Bucks play 49ers.
And I completely disagree with you. And I think this is one game I'm sure of is going to be a blowout.
A blowout? Moving on to the next group of games, we got probably the most anticipated game of the whole wild card weekend is the Rams versus Lions.
Yeah.
You know, they had a big traded their quarterbacks, swapped quarterbacks pretty much.
Yeah.
And the Rams ended up winning a Super Bowl.
Yep.
The Lions have a team. They could definitely win the Super Bowl this year.
100%.
And it's not even insane to say that. I'm going to take Lions here by a good margin. I think the Lions team is just so smooth right now.
I think that their defense will outshine the Rams' offense in this game.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. I think Puka will get his. I know the Rams got a good rushing attack, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But I think that the level that the Lions have been playing, and you'll see as we get into other games, they have a great shot at going all the way.
And they're hot right now.
Yep.
The next set of games is Packers-Cowboys. Packers is my favorite NFL team.
And you just said that the Steelers were the worst team in the playoffs. And I'm going to run that back with your Packers might be the worst team to make the playoffs that I've ever seen in my 19 years of being on this earth.
And that's crazy. And I'm going to have to wrap it up there. And I'm going to walk out. But I think you're wrong. I think they got a lot of young talent. And I think it's just
it's not their year.
Yet.
It's not their year.
They're not discovered yet. They don't know who they are.
They're going to get absolutely blown out by the Dallas Cowboys.
And I think you're wrong. Because I'm obviously going to take my Packers here.
Okay.
But
you know what? If my team was in it, I'd pick them too. But let's not be unrealistic with how far you got them going, though. Let's not have the Packers be winning the Super Bowl here.
No. But I think they do win this first round and get out of the wild card and, play a big game.
So let's just be clear so everybody understands what you're saying here. And I think this one absolutely discredits your sports take. Like, this is Stephen A. Smith sports take level terrible.
I got Packers beating the Cowboys by 3 points on a field goal kick.
And again, same with Eagles and Bucks. I got the Cowboys beating the Packers by 2 touchdowns.
So I got Packers versus Lions, and I got San Fran versus Bucks.
I think that either way, the playoffs will be a good watch this year, and we'll be interested to see how that turns out. Moving on to the last part of the podcast, we got the quote.
The quote, man, I really like to connect my quotes to the podcast and what's kind of going on.
Right.
And so my quote of the day is, "Nothing is impossible. The word itself says I'm possible." So going back onto the intro part, the YouTube part, where people are going to say it's impossible. But if I can believe in the man I am and the man I know I can be, I think it will be possible for me and for you, and we're going to grow. And I think impossible is a crazy word to say.
Yep.
And I think it should just be deleted from my brain. I wish it would. And
100%.
I'm possible. I just want to be great, but people will say it's impossible. And you just got to believe in yourself every single day.
Yeah. And I'm going to go along with the same type of thing, connecting it to the podcast. And my quote is, "The only thing worse than starting something and failing is not starting something at all."
Right.
And I think that without this, now that we have the ball rolling, we don't think it was impossible. But before, we did.
Yeah, that's why we never started.
Right. And I think that when you start something, there's always that negative thought in your head. But you just got to push through that and get something out of the experience. Right.
What will people think of me? Oh, this is dumb.
Right. Nobody will like this.
Yeah. But it's about you liking it, man.
Right. It's about what you get out of it. Thank you guys for tapping into the Salt and Pepper Podcast, episode 4. Make sure you subscribe and go take a look at our Spotify. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. See you guys.